So we've got all these edges in, we've got the centers in. Now comes the meat of this problem, where we're going to utilize all of the techniques that we've learned from all the other jumblers. And it's not so bad. Just remember that 3 cycle that we might have to use from time to time. We're going to start off with getting these on the green side. This guy's already in, so we don't have to worry about that. Let's find another green, any other green, right over here. So this needs to come up to here, so how are we going to do that? Well, is it in the right orbit, so to speak? And you can see that it's not. The good news is I don't have to jumble it to get it there. As you recall, we had to kind of exchange it and whatnot like we did with this guy. We don't. So here's how we do it instead. I know if it were in the correct orbit over here, it would now have to go over here, right? This to here, then this to here. So why don't I just move the face over to here? No jumbling needed. It's now in the correct orbit. So all I need to do is move this down here. Bang. Then move this in. Blam, now that's in, and then move it up, and just remember to move this back. So literally it's a 2, 2, 2, 2. But if you do that, you won't mess up your centers, you won't mess up any of the previous work that you've done, except we did move this out, so all we have to do is construct it back. So now that's in. So let's find another one. Another green, small slice green right over here. So let's see what orbit this is in. This can go to here, which means this must go here. So let's take this gray and green side over here and turn it here. So I just turn the gray and green over there so that it's within the correct orbit. So then I just do the same thing. Turn this here. Now this will come in to meet it, and now we'll turn it in. And be sure to turn this back. So simple stuff. Pretty simple stuff here. Okay, we just have one more left to get this top side, and that's right over here. Now this is kind of far away, so why don't we move this up here? Turn, 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 turn. I did that just to get it closer, just to approach it. This needs to come over to here. This is going to come up here in this orbit, and then come over here. So I'm just going to turn it over here, then turn, turn, and these are all 2s basically that I'm turning. Turn, and then get the center back. All right, piece of cake, right? No problems, no worries. So we've got our first layer, our top layer here. The next step, just like with all the other diamonds, is we start slowly but surely putting these in. Surely, but mostly slowly. So gray, gray, find a big gray, any gray right here, gray and red. I'm going to move this down from here because I can't really do anything with it and I don't want to mess this up. So that's just a simple matter of turn, turn, I'm just moving it out of the way, turn, and turn. All right, duty calls. Okay, continuing where we left off, we just moved this gray out and we wanted to move it into here. So where is the correct orbit? Well, this is going to be moving to here. We want to move it into here. But I tell you what, why don't we do this? If we wanted to move into here, this can come here, and then the next orbit would be, say, here. So why don't I take this and move it down here, since I can move the face? See? No jumbling. The joy of non-jumbling. So I put all these within the same orbit. So I just go turn, 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 turn. Hope you caught that, but I put this in here, and I just moved that back up. Simple stuff. Let's do the other gray, if we can find it. Right over here. So it's pretty far away, but that's okay. Let's just move. Oh. Actually, it's going to be coming over to here. Now let's get it closer. Double turn, double turn, double turn, and double turn. Moved it just a little bit closer to here. So this is the orbit here, and this is the orbit. So it just happens to be in the right orbit. As you can see, it's in that same line which defines the orbit. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So you can see how algorithms really aren't needed. It's fairly simple, fairly easy to just visualize. So how about the blue? this to over here. Well, this is already in the right orbit, so great fun. 2 turns, 2 turns, 2 turns, 2 turns. How about this one? Right over here. All right, so how are we doing? Well, let's once again get it close. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. Okay, we want to get into here. So this is an orbit, and this is an orbit. Once again, we happen to have the same orbit. If we didn't, we just change faces. Yeah, so 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So this is almost like a non-jumbled thing here. Unfortunately, it just worked out that way. So the last of the reds, which is over here, this has to get into here. So this can come here, and this is not in the correct orbit over here. Good, so I finally have an example of something that I have to change. This is in the same orbit as here, so why don't I just turn this down here? So you can see I just turned the whole face. I need to put it here, so just turn the face, and I put it within the right orbit. So that's the joy of face turning. So, move this out of the way, bring this in position, move this in position, and move this back here, any way you can. And then just be sure to move your face back. All right, so simple stuff. Whoop, we got one more to go. Yellow. One more yellow. So where is the yellow? Right over here. So what's within this orbit? Here to here to here. Boy, did I get lucky. Or maybe I just did a horrible job scrambling it. But here and here and here. Okay, so hopefully it'll get more challenging as we progress. But basically we've got our whole layers over here. So now we just have to do the second half of the layers. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try to put these in as much as possible. Let's take a look at what's up here. I've got a white and red. That has to come over here. Obviously not in the right orbit. So what I'm going to do is move this face until it is. So the orbit that's correct with this, well, the orbit's going to be over here. So it's easy enough for me to just go bang. Now we're in the right orbit. No jumbling necessary. So along this line, this isn't really in where it's supposed to be anyway, so I can go 2, 2, 2, and 2. So that's in, quite simply. What else now? How about this? This needs to go where? This needs to go here. So find the orbit that will accept it, which is this one, move it over here. Now pretty soon we're going to start running into a situation where I'm going to run out of sacrificial lambs, like here. This is within this orbital line, but I can't use that one because I don't want to blast it out. So what to do? What do I put here? Or should I not even do that one? Well, here's the technique that you're going to use, and this is the basic strategy to keep in mind. When you don't have what you want here and you want to put something else here, generally what you're going to do is you're going to start deconstructing it until you get something here, do the algorithm, and then reconstructing it. The way to remember it, because of how it turns, is when you do that, you end up turning a side, then an edge, then a side. So if you just remember what you did first, edge, side, edge, then you'll remember what you have to do. The one that's going to end up here, substituting for this one, is probably this guy here. So I'm going to turn my side to here twice, and I'll put this in the orbit of this guy. So I know I did a side turn twice. Now I'm going to do an edge turn with one cycle, which is basically 180 degrees. Bang. So I'm going to be able to remember that pretty easily. I'll put it in, and then I'll just remember to turn the edge back and then the side back. So this is going to have to go over here. So we're going to double turn, double turn, double turn, double turn. Something of an algorithm there, I suppose. So this has to come into here, actually. So we're going to go double turn, double turn, double turn, and double turn. So we've got that in. So to put this back now, I just remember that we moved the edge first, so move the edge first, and then we move the side next, and we didn't mess any of these guys up, but hopefully put in the one that we were hoping for. At least I think that's what it was. So this has to come into here now, so we'll move this into position. Do I have a sacrificial lamb? Yeah. This actually doesn't belong here, so I can easily move it within this line over here. So double turn. Double turn without destroying it. Double turn and double turn. So that was fairly simple. Now, what do we got? So you're going to find yourself very quickly coming to the last few ones. 1, 2, 3, 4. What is up here that really ought not be this one? So I'm going to turn this over here to make it within that orbit. So this has to turn over here, which means I have to, well, this isn't where it's supposed to be anyway, so it just turns out easy that way. So double turn this, take it out of the way, turn this here, move this in, and move it back. Okay, so we're good so far. Now I have all of these bottoms, whoop, almost. This guy needs to come over here. So I'll move this over here. This is within that orbit. Can't sacrifice anything here, so what am I going to do? What am I going to do if I'm to move this into here? So what I'm going to do is basically what you're doing is you're trying to create a line from here to here. I don't really have anything surrounding here that I can use. So I'm going to take this line the other way down to here because I can maybe use this guy. Knowing that this line has to be used, why don't I just move this one in? So I'm just going to move this down and I've got myself a 3 pair here that I can use. And just to refresh my memory as to what goes where, I'm trying to move this into here. So move this over here, so turn this in so it's there, bat it out of the way, turn this back, and move this in. So now that's in here, and all I've got to do is move this guy back. Alright, so the end result is we placed what I think we wanted to place. So now we've got all of these layers in. Inevitably, this is what it's going to come down to. We've got 3 things to cycle here. Now this is the one that's going to take the most thought, because we're going to have something in the middle and we're going to try to create that line across like this. So basically this needs to be moved to here and this needs to be moved to here. Alright, so this is your final cognitive leap to try to 3 cycle these guys. Again, we're going to be doing edge moves and side moves, face moves basically. So to do that, first off, they're all in the same face, so I have to bring them out of the same face, and that's how you have to do it straight on down through. So first we're going to do a side move. We're going to do an edge move rather. So one edge move here. Then after I do that, I'm going to do a side move, which is this side here. 1, 2. That puts this within the right orbit, then 1, 2. Now lest you think that was hard to remember, it really isn't. We finished with an edge move, 1, 2, then a side move, 1, 2, then finish up with an edge move. We're going to do the same thing with this side here too, okay? So we have a side move, we have an edge move, 1, 2. So 1, 2. And now I have to do a side move to get this in, and that side move is going to be here, 1, 2, and then an edge move to bring it over here, 1, 2. We have ourselves a line. And don't worry, I'm not even going to remember what I just did. I just remember starting off with edge moves. So what needs to cycle where? Well, I think this probably needs to find its way over here. So 1, 2, 1, 2. Let's actually move it this way here. So I'm going to start from here. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Everything should be cycled. Now, can we get it back? Sure. Start off here. 1, 2 with an edge move. Then do a side move. 1, 2. Then an edge move. 1, 2. No problems. Looks nice and pretty. Now we do this side here. 1, 2, edge move, side move, 1, 2, edge move, 1, 2, and you got it. Now hopefully that kind of made sense without the use of any algorithms. I'll grant you that the scramble was not as scrambled as I had hoped, but remember that if something is not on the right orbit, you just keep moving the sides until you get it in conjunction with that. But we have now done 1 and 2. Next stop, 3 is on the horizon. Coming up next.